Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today something actually happened, which usually only happens every 2 weeks, but it actually happened today, because we are diving into something that's rocking the entire internet right now. How do I say? I can't even say it lightly. 4chan has been hacked. And this isn't just some random DDoS attack or trolling attempt. This is a massive breach that exposed the inner workings of one of the internet's most infamous websites. We are talking about source code leaks, admin emails, doxing of the janitors, and even hints of connections to .edu and .government domains. So yeah, it's a really big happening. So let's break down everything that's happened so far, what it means for 4chan's future, for the future of the internet, and of course what this could mean for some of your favorite boards, including VT. So let's get into it. Let's talk about what actually happened. In the early hours of April 15, a 4chan user started reporting something strange. The site was down. According to downdetector.com, a site that logs web outages, thousands of people were experiencing issues accessing 4chan, and by early morning it became clear that it wasn't just a technical hiccup, it was a full-blown cyber attack. The platform, known for its chaotic, anonymous discussions, was hit hard. The attackers managed to get into the admin backend, stealing not just the site source code, but also sensitive user data, especially emails and contact info of moderators and their admins, or as we call them, janitors. And if you've been on 4chan for a while, you know the term janitor isn't just a meme, it refers to the low-level volunteers, moderators, who help keep the chaos somewhat contained. They even call themselves that, despite not liking the name. But here is where it gets crazy. It seems that the hackers exploited vulnerabilities in an outdated PHP code and legacy MySQL functions, particularly in an old script called Soyjak.Party. For those unfamiliar, Soyjak is a core script that powers 4chan's post system and moderation. It's ancient and apparently full of known security holes, because it has never been updated after 2016. It might as well still run on Windows XP for all I know. So how bad is it if you are not into technical stuff? Pretty fucked. Internal chat logs were leaked. Admin emails were leaked, including some from .edu and .government domains. So to be clear, these emails refer to government and Department of Education emails. Now, just to be clear, that doesn't necessarily mean that universities or government employees were running 4chan as a whole, but it's obviously sketchy and could raise some flags about 4chan being a honeypot. And the attackers even restored the deleted QA bot and gave themselves temporary admin access to these 4chan itself. It's like someone not only breaking into your house, but rearranging your furniture, live streaming it from your living room. And what even happened is that some of the emails that were leaked had the full name of the janitor, and now these are getting doxed, and the hackers are trying to breach into their other accounts from the emails which they use on other sites. So the question remains, who did it? Was it some hololive antis, some Base Connect fans? VTuber fans can get really heated. But yeah, for all we know right now, the hackers are linked to the Soyjak.Party community. For those who don't know, Soyjak.Party is like a chaotic anti-4chan satellite group, born out of satire, trolling, the shared hatred of what they see as 4chan's decline. Whether or not they are really responsible is still up for debate, but they have claimed it. And they seem way too familiar with 4chan's infrastructure for it to not be them. What we also need to know is why it actually happened, and why Soyjak.Party targeted 4chan. Well, the lore behind Soyjak.Party is that they actually originated from 4chan. They originated from the fallout of the Q&A bot being deleted back in 2021. Q&A was originally meant for questions and answers, discussions about 4chan itself, kinda like a meta board, but it evolved into this strange, self-aware space where users posted ironic memes, discussed board culture, and yes, they shared a lot of Soyjaks. In fact, the Soyjaks, Wojaks that we all know and love, they originated from the QA board being heavily unmoderated. And the reason it was nuked by the admins is because not a lot of people used it, and the janitors didn't want to moderate it anymore. So they simply nuked the board, but when it was nuked, a lot of these users on the Soyjak board, they felt abandoned. And they didn't just disappear, they simply regrouped. They created their own website, Soyjak.Party. It became kind of a rogue offshoot, half meme cult, half digital rebellion. It's chaos, satire, and criticizing what they see as 4chan's decline because of the janitors. And if they are really behind the sack, which we pretty much assume they are, and they are not just trolling us, it's revenge for what they believe was the mishandling and censorship of their home board. On Twitter, they have been posting early analysis of the leaked source code. According to them, this breach was almost inevitable given the ancient tech stack 4chan is running on. Think about it, the site was built in 2003 by a 15-year-old kid called Mood. And since then there have been pretty much zero major updates. And after Mood left the site in 2015, and fun fact, he joined Google actually, 4chan kind of entered a slow decay. Some boards thrived, like G or V, and of course VT or Pol. But under the hood it's always been a ticking time bomb, and QA used this now. So the question is, what happened to some of the boards we love, especially VT? Since this is a VTuber channel obviously. But it's no secret that the VTuber community on 4chan has been one of the most active and passionate groups in the recent years. Whether you're a Hololive fan, into indie tubers, or you're just there for the memes and shitposts, VT has played a big role in shaping the culture of modern online fandom. In fact, if you would like me to make a video on the VT board as a whole, let me know in the comments. If moderation data, post history, or user interactions from that board were exposed, it could lead to serious consequences, especially for people who value anonymity in these niche communities. And let's not kid ourselves, while the site may look like a relic, 4chan still holds power in the whole internet culture. What starts on VT, Pol, or B often finds its way to Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, TikTok, and beyond. As an example, all these Soyjaks and Wojaks all stem from 4chan. So this is why it really matters, because this isn't just about 4chan. This is what happens when websites stop evolving, when developers stop maintaining their code and communities are left using platforms that are hanging by a thread. And let's be honest, love it or hate it, 4chan is a cultural artifact. From launching the anonymous movement, to birthing internet legends, to being the birthplace of VTubers shitposting wars, 4chan has had an outside influence on the web. But it's also been home to some very dark stuff, you know, Gamergate, celebrity photos leak, harassment campaigns, or even manipulating some real-life elections. So each puts a spotlight not just on security, but also on accountability. If 4chan's inner workings are now exposed, what kind of skeletons are in those logs? Only the hackers know. And it's time will answer if they will let us know. But what will happen next? Because we obviously don't know yet. As of now, the site is still down. There are no official statements from the current site owners. But one thing is clear, that this breach is a massive wake-up call to the admins. Not just for 4chan, but for any site relying on that decade-old code and holding it up somehow. So if you're on 4chan, especially a board like VT, now might be a good time to review your OPSEC. Don't reuse emails, don't post anything you wouldn't want to be exposed, and maybe, maybe, Start asking why a site as influential as 4chan has been allowed to rot like this. You know, not to get into conspiracy, whole stuff, but maybe there are certain people who want it to be like that. To use this fact, but you know, some people. So, but yeah, what do you think? Is this the beginning of the end of 4chan, or just another bump in its chaotic legacy? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you're from BT, let me know how you're holding up without the horny posts and shit posting, because I'm going crazy. So stay safe out there, and maybe update your PHP code. If you liked the video, hit that like button, sub if you already haven't, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.